Alexandria was founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BCE. It became a global centre of learning and culture. Its famous library attracted scholars from across the world, and over time it evolved under Greek, Roman, and later Byzantine rule. Alexandria's diverse population brought a surge of ideas in philosophy, science, and the arts. Hypatia was born into this vibrant atmosphere. She studied and taught Neoplatonism, focusing on philosophy, astronomy, and mathematics. Her lectures drew students from different regions, and she guided them through the works of Plato and Aristotle. She also made commentaries on mathematical texts and tracked celestial movements, and people respected her wisdom and clarity of thought. And here's the best part: her life and work still fascinate us today, shining bright across centuries, hinting at a story that's both brilliant and tragic. Imagine a city that contained all the world's knowledge, every commentary on math and science, every work of art and literature, and every philosophical idea. Can you imagine scholars, artists, and inventors meeting in one place to debate the nature of the universe? That was the dream behind Alexandria. Its founder, Alexander the Great, did not simply want to conquer Egypt. He tried to win over its people by respecting their beliefs. In 332 BC, after defeating the Persians, he honoured Egypt's ancient gods and traditions, and by doing so, he turned himself from an outsider into a pharaoh in the eyes of the Egyptians. That political skill set set the stage for something monumental, creating a new city on the edge of the Nile Delta. Alexander chose a stretch of coastline linking the island of Pharos to the mainland. He built a massive causeway, transforming a quiet settlement into a bustling new hub, and laid out Alexandria on a grid, one of the first planned cities of the ancient world. He wanted it to connect Greek thought with Egyptian wisdom, and he dreamed it would become the engine of global power. Remember how bold this dream was: a new city uniting different cultures and beliefs, aiming to hold all the world's knowledge. It was an extraordinary gamble, and everything depended on how it grew. After Alexander's untimely death, his successors, the Ptolemies, carried on his plan. They oversaw the city's rapid expansion, constructing temples, theatres, and one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Great Lighthouse on Pharos. Ships sailing in from every corner of the Mediterranean knew they had reached the most important port when that beacon came into view. But Alexandria's true power lay in its openness to ideas. The city welcomed Greek, Egyptian, Jewish, and later Roman influences. Visitors found towering columns decorated with both Egyptian symbols and Greek-style carvings. Even statues of gods and humans were hybrids, a Greek head perched on an Egyptian-style body, or vice versa. It was a place where traditions mixed freely, giving birth to a culture that was purely Alexandrian, unique, daring, and focused on wisdom. Scholarship thrived in lecture halls scattered along the city's main avenues. Curiosity was praised. Mathematics, geometry, and astronomy flourished. One researcher named Eratosthenes measured the Earth's circumference with remarkable accuracy. Another, Aristarchus, suggested that the Earth revolved around the Sun, an idea far ahead of its time. We should remember how seamlessly Alexandria blended cultures. It was no ordinary city. It was a meeting point of minds, fueled by curiosity, that would soon change the course of learning forever. Hey everyone, John here, enjoying the journey so far? Well, don't forget to like this video, subscribe and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Want even more exclusive perks and behind the scenes content? Well then join as a member or snag our 7-day free trial on Patreon. Your support keeps History Roadshow rolling. Now, let's get back to the story. Perhaps Alexandria's most famous creation was its library. The goal was breathtaking: collect every written work in existence. It didn't matter the language, Greek, Hebrew, Babylonian, or Latin, every scroll was welcome. Scholars studied and catalogued them, developing the world's first comprehensive library catalogue. Then the city passed a law that prohibited the leaving of books once they arrived. Officials even inspected ships that entered the harbour, seizing any interesting scrolls to be copied. Many travellers were honoured to know their works would be safeguarded in Alexandria, though others bristled at losing their manuscripts. Still, they recognised the city's ambition to assemble a complete record of human thought. Knowledge wasn't just stored in those halls, it was analysed and discussed. Galen made breakthroughs in medicine by studying anatomy in detail. Others rewrote astronomy, philosophy and geometry, and more. The synergy of ideas was unmatched. It was said that if a text existed, Alexandria either had it or soon would. Imagine walking through row upon row of papyrus scrolls, each precious and possibly unique. That treasure of ideas was like nothing else in the ancient world. Yet, as history shows, great treasures can bring significant risks. For centuries, Alexandria stood at the crossroads of empires. Romans took control, but allowed the city's vibrant culture to endure. Scholars continued their work, and new faiths arrived. Christianity, once a small movement, gained followers, and many Christians lived alongside pagans, and debates about the nature of the universe and the divine carried on. It seemed to fit the city's spirit of open inquiry. But conflict simmered beneath the surface. Power struggles erupted between Roman authorities, religious leaders, and established pagan elites. Over time, certain Christian factions wanted spiritual authority and political control, and tensions rose and tolerance shrank. Anger replaced curiosity in some circles. The brilliant philosopher Hypatia, a noted mathematician and astronomer, was caught in this climate. She taught students of all backgrounds. Her mastery of geometry and her redesign of the astrolabe drew respect. Yet her high profile made her a target for those suspicious of pagan thinkers. Bishop Cyril wanted complete influence in the city, and leaders loyal to him spread rumours that Hypatia, insisting her instruments were tools of black magic. With a storm now brewing, knowledge made Alexandria mighty, but politics and fear began to tear that unity apart. A bloody tragedy was on the horizon in a city that once celebrated new ideas. The day Hypatia was attacked remains one of Alexandria's darkest moments. A mob, fueled by hatred, pulled her from her carriage. They stripped away her dignity along with her clothes, and then assaulted her in a former temple, now turned church. Broken pottery and sharpened tiles became weapons in a gruesome scene. Once she was gone, they burned what was left of her. It was an act designed to erase every trace of her life and intellect. This violence symbolised the unravelling of Alexandria's ideals. Religious and political struggles led to suspicion and destruction. The city's monumental buildings and its great library suffered repeated attacks. Fires and looting spelt doom for countless irreplaceable scrolls, and the dream of housing all the world's wisdom crashed into the harsh reality of power struggles. It's as though you can almost hear the silence left by missing scrolls and broken statues. The city that once united cultures was devouring its foundation. Something priceless was lost, not just a collection of books, but the spirit of inquiry itself. Alexandria remained significant in the following centuries, but never regained its original magic. Only a tiny fraction of the 500,000 scrolls from its library survived into modern times. Most were destroyed, scattered, or lost forever. The same city that once embraced all philosophies ended up crushing them under the weight of fear and politics. Yet echoes of Alexandria still inspire us. Many modern ideas about science, mathematics and cataloguing knowledge can be traced back to innovations born in that city. Eratosthenes measuring Earth's circumference, or Hypatia perfecting the astrolabe are reminders of what people can achieve when they share ideas. The new library in today's Alexandria honours that heritage, storing modern books and saving snapshots of the internet so that information can be preserved for the future. Alexandria teaches us that knowledge has to be protected as fiercely as any city wall. We have more ways to store information now than ever, but the lesson remains the same. Knowledge is fragile, and its survival depends on tolerance and a willingness to learn from each other. To conclude, consider what could happen if we lose our appetite for open discussion. Like Alexandria, we risk seeing our most outstanding achievements slip away. But if we embrace the city's spirit, we carry forward a spark that can light many lamps. And in that light, Alexandria lives on.